Hey guys, Preacher 357 here, out here in the shop at the cleaning table here, because I want to take a look at a brand new gun that has just been released by Smith and Wesson, which is their Bodyguard 380 2.0. And it's an interesting firearm. Been seeing a lot of pictures on it, a lot of pictures of it online, and people saying it looks like a shield, which it does. But then, along with that, a lot of people seem to think that means it's nearly the size of a shield, that it's as big as a shield. And so the question is, is it going to be something that can fill in the same role that the original Bodyguard 380 did? Or is it going to be something that's going to be bigger and you're really not going to carry it in your pocket? Because a shield, to me, is too big for pocket carry. Now, maybe some people have large pockets and they can pocket carry a shield, but it's just a little bit too big for that for me. And so if the Bodyguard 380 is anywhere near that size, it's not going to be something that you're going to pocket carry. And so I saw one at our local gun shop in Jackson, Tennessee, on the south side, direct hit, and I picked it up yesterday. And I'm going to do a little bit of first look and comparison here today with the original Bodyguard. Now, as of right now, the original Bodyguard is still on the Smith and Wesson website. It appears it's still available, so it may be the case that this is not taking the place of the original Bodyguard, that it's just in addition to the original Bodyguard. So if you're looking for something that fills that role of the original Bodyguard, you still have the original Bodyguard. But this is something different for, I guess, people that want something that's a little bit of a different animal. So calling it the Smith and Wesson 380 Bodyguard 2.0 is kind of a misnomer, I guess you could say, in some ways, because it's really not a new version of the Bodyguard. As we'll see in just a second, they are completely different guns. These are totally different animals. They bear no resemblance to one another. They don't function the same way. There's nothing about these guns that's even remotely the same. So calling it a 2.0 doesn't really even make sense. I think they should have just branded it as something else, especially if you're going to keep the original Bodyguard, because they're just not anything remotely alike. Whereas, the LCPs, the LCP2, the LCP Max, they were somewhat similar in a lot of ways. That they could be called an LCP2 or an LCP Max. This is just a brand new gun that probably just should have had a new name, if you ask me. But they didn't ask me because my opinion doesn't make any difference to them. But I'm going to give my opinion anyway. That's what I'm here for. So we'll get over here and we'll take a look at these guns. I've also got the LCP2 out for comparison as well. I wish I had the LCP Max to do a comparison with, but I got rid of that. I didn't keep that after I did the review of it. But the LCP Max was not much larger than the LCP2. So I think we're going to get a decent idea here by just looking at these guns as to what size this Bodyguard 380 actually is. So we'll get over here and we'll look at those now. But before we do that, if you would check out the description. There's a link there for Weatherbeard Supply Company. It's beard care products. They've got other things too. They've got soap. They've got several products on the website there besides beard care. But that's the main thing that I use from them is their beard care, their beard oil, their beard balm, their cologne. I love their cologne. And I've got a link there where you can go get 10% off of an order at Weatherbeard, and then they'll give me a percentage of the proceeds even to help me buy guns and ammo, so I can keep doing this channel and reviewing these guns and bringing this content. So if you want to help support me and get some good beard care products, then check that link out. There's also a link there for the GOA, the Gun Owners of America, where you can get a discounted membership. I don't get any kickbacks from them. They don't support me. I support them. The TFA as well, the Tennessee Firearms Association. I'm a Tennessee boy, and I support my state organization. And I've got a link there to join up as well. So if you live in the great state of Tennessee like I do, I would urge you to get in the fight here in Tennessee by joining the TFA. So let's go over here and take a look at these guns now. Okay guys, we're here at the cleaning table now. I have all three guns here on the table. Here's the original Bodyguard 380. This is the one with the Crimson Trace light on it. This is a friend of mine's gun that I borrowed. He's carried this for a long time. But you can see the Bodyguard original. This is the new 2.0 here in the middle, and then the LCP2 on the bottom here. And so if we take these and we compare them size-wise, I think you can see, looking at that there, that it's just a little bit longer in the grip than the original Bodyguard 380. The new 2.0 is just slightly larger. But if you count the finger grip on the magazine here, there's not much difference really in the front, but the back is going to be a little bit different. And if we compare the slides on top, you'll see that the 2.0 here is a little bit longer than the original Bodyguard. But there's not that much difference. It's really not that much of a difference. Now, obviously, if you put the 12-round magazine in, which we have right here, you get the longer grip, and that definitely makes a difference, and you get a full grip with it when you do that. But you know, I'm comparing the flush fit here. The LCP2 is about the same size as the original Bodyguard. There's really not much difference between them, and I mean, really not much difference at all. They're practically the same. Intentionally so, I think. And the LCP Max was about the same length with a flush fit magazine as the extended base plate here with this finger groove, finger, whatever that is on there, extension on there. So it's not much difference than this, but was a little bit wider than the LCP2. Which, when you compare the width of the LCP2 with the Bodyguard, you'll see the Bodyguard's thinner. It's thinner than the LCP2, so you know it's thinner than the LCP Max. And there's no doubt about that. The Bodyguard is a very, very thin firearm. It's even thinner, really, than the original Bodyguard as well. It's hard to tell, but it is. And one way you can tell is with this pocket holster. This is the LCP2 pocket holster from Alabama Holsters that I use. And it fits perfectly with the LCP2, but it also fits perfectly with the with the Bodyguard 380. The original fits perfectly in there as well. Good tight fit. But when we put the Bodyguard 2.0 in there, it's loose because it's not as wide. It's very thin. And so that's a difference that we have here. It's a little bit longer in the grip, but it's a thinner pistol. Now, other things, well, we'll just get the LCP out of the way now. I think we really need that for any comparative purposes now. The other differences are obviously, well, number one, there's a safety on the original Bodyguard. There's no safety on the 2.0. Now, some of the shields come with safeties. Does that mean they're possibly going to offer one of these with a safety? Well, I don't know. The other difference is this is a double action, and these have been safety checked. There's no ammunition in them. The Bodyguard 380 was a double action hammer fired gun. You can see the hammer moving backward at the back of the gun there before coming forward. This is a hammer fired double action only gun. This one is striker fired, just like the Shield or the M&P series. This is a striker fired gun. It's kind of strange they didn't label this as an M&P because it looks just like the M&P series of guns. This one does have some decent texturing on the grip, though not as aggressive as the 2.0 series of the M&Ps. It's not quite that aggressive, but it's more aggressive than what you feel on the Bodyguard, for sure, on the original. So there's really your difference here. It's a different gun. It's not even remotely the same gun. And I'm not sure if it's even going to necessarily serve in all the same capacity. This gun right here, you could, with having a safety being double action only, I mean, you could just take this gun and throw it right in your pocket. You wouldn't even need a pocket holster for this thing. Now, usually I would recommend having one, but with a double action trigger and a safety, if you put the safety on this gun right here with this big long double action trigger, and as hard as it is to get that safety off, accidentally, I don't think there's any chance whatsoever that this would go off in your pocket if you were carrying it without a pocket holster. So, this is a pretty safe gun to carry just thrown in a pocket. Whereas this one, you're going to want a pocket holster. I would want a Kydex pocket holster, like the Alabama pocket holsters. That's what I use for these types of guns. Of course, I carry the SIG P365. I pocket carry that gun some in some of my pants that have larger pockets. They have to have pretty large pockets to pocket carry the P365, but it can be done. And I use a Alabama pocket holster for that as well. So if I were going to pocket carry this, that's what I would want to use. But the question then is, is this going to be a big improvement over the P365 for pocket carry? Here's my P365, and I'm gonna have to clear it because I am carrying this gun right now. Just take that and get that out of the way. It is clear now. We'll just show the comparison here. The P365 just a little longer. The grips are pretty much the same. That's really what comes into consideration with pocket carry, is the length of the grip. Now width makes a difference too, and you can see that the Bodyguard 380 2.0 is definitely thinner than the P365, but in other dimensions it's not much difference. So is it going to offer a lot of benefit over the P365 for carry when you're having to go from a 9mm down to a 380? Well, maybe in some circumstances. There may be some pockets that this, because of its slimness, will fit in a lot better than the P365. And it is light. This is a light gun. I'd say it's even lighter than the original. It really does feel lighter even than the original. Of course, this one has the crimson trace on there, so that may add a little bit of weight. But it's definitely lighter than the P365. And this is a light gun. But this really is a very lightweight gun. So, all in all, I think they have done a fairly good job with this gun. It's different. It's not going to fit exactly the same niche that the original did, but if they're still offering the original and they're not discontinuing that, then you've got a choice you can make between the two. Another thing I want to do though is I do want to break this gun down and look at how it functions. There is something about it that's a little bit strange that I noticed, and I think I understand what's going on with it, but it's still kind of odd. So I'm going to break it down, take the slide off here, and I'm not going to do that on camera. We'll just cut to the point where I have this all taken apart. Okay guys, I do have this apart now, and you can see the slide. It looks like just any standard striker fired pistol here. Got your captive recoil spring here. Got your little tiny barrel. And just looking in here, it looks very normal. You have your firing pin. It's not a firing pin, it's a striker block right there, which has to be pushed in or pushed up, if it's this direction obviously, in order for the striker to go all the way forward and hit the primer on the round. And in order to do that, when you press the trigger here, there's a bar right here, and this little part of the trigger bar comes up and engages that to push it up and to free the striker to hit, which is not unusual. That's very common. The strange thing about this is that this gun will not cycle. You cannot lock the slide back unless the magazine is in there. And I'm gonna show you that right now. See, I'm trying to reassemble it, and in order to do that, you have to lock it back and then toggle this switch here. But you can't do it. It's not going to go back. It won't go back far enough, see, to engage. The cutout there has to go back further, but it won't do it. There's something stopping it. However, when I put a magazine in, now it goes all the way back. And now you can reassemble it. So what is causing that? Well, I think it's that striker block. And I'll take it apart one more time and show you what I'm talking about. All right, looking at this again, you have your plunger here that has to be pushed upwards, and that's going to be sitting about right here when the slide is on where it needs to be. However, when you pull that backwards to lock the slide back, it's going to be back in this area right here, and that puts that plunger right about right here. And there's a little piece there that's in the way of that plunger, and it's hitting it. And that's why it won't go all the way back, because this firing pin block, or striker block, I'm sorry, is hitting this little piece right here on this rail section. So why does it go back when you have the magazine in? Well, you'll see here, the magazine sort of acts like a ramp, that as you push the pull the slide back, it kind of ramps upward, and that striker block is coming in contact with the follower, and it's pushing it up slowly, just enough that when it gets to this point right back here, it just keeps pushing it up. And because the follower is there, the follower is actually engaging that striker block and keeping that striker block pushed up, so that when you go to cycle, if I can get it on now, there we go. So when you go to pull the slide back, it'll go all the way and lock. So that was kind of strange, but you have to have the magazine in to lock the slide back. It will not lock back otherwise. So that's really all I know to talk about today, just this first look, this first comparison that I'm doing on this gun. We're going to get it out on the range, obviously, and put some rounds down range and see how it performs. Is it a shootable gun? Is it more shootable than the original 380? Because obviously that one is a hammer-fired gun with a long double-action trigger, and those can be difficult to shoot accurately, especially in a really small gun that's hard to hold steady. So does it make a big difference? And if so, how much? And is that something that for me would be a deciding factor on whether I would take this one over that? Or if this maybe will even replace my LCP2. You know, that LCP Max did not replace my LCP2 because it was just slightly bigger, and I had a few issues with it as well, and I just decided to keep that LCP2. But you know, the original Bodyguard was a 6-round capacity. The LCP2 is a 6-round capacity. This is 10 with a flush fit mag. So maybe this is going to be a viable option to replace my LCP2. I don't know. But when we get it out on the range, we'll test her out, try it. I'll probably compare it to the original Bodyguard and my LCP2 and just see if it's of enough of an improvement that I think I might actually switch. So guys, that's all I know today. Just stay tuned because I will have a range video coming out hopefully very soon. Appreciate you guys coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.